Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hell Let Loose Summer Invitational. My name is Avanis. I'll be your host on stream today, and we are about to kick off match 2 in the losers final between DC and ARO. DC winning match 1. They are up in the series 1-0. This is a best of 3, so ARO now in a must-win position here. They have to win in order to force a match 3, which will go to Train Station on Carentan, and that'll be a winner take all. So ARO definitely maybe feeling a little bit of the pressure here. This is going to be one of the most interesting tests of the tournament. ARO, who had looked extremely dominant up until playing 82nd in the winners final, they did so well in counter-punching 82nd on 82nd selection. And they lost at the very, very end of the Roar River House match both times. Like this time as the Allies, this time as the Allies and last time as the Axis. I mean, they lost both games in overtime. So really crazy, wild finishes right at the very end. ARO now has to do what DC just did to them. Like ARO has to find a way to win on a map that is not their selection, and they need to force match 3. ARO, I think, really would like a rematch against 82nd. I think DC also wants a rematch against 82nd, so I think both teams are fighting equally hard for this. But yeah, I mean, ARO, after looking like an unstoppable freight train, and you know, they had a lot of hype after a couple of very convincing wins they had in some earlier rounds. This is now their third straight loss in the tournament in terms of matches. They lost match 1 and match 2 against 82nd. So it's just a real test to them. Like, can they find a way out of this? Can they find a way to win? That's just going to be the thing to keep an eye on. It is not easy to win in this format. This is a tough format. So we're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to see how this starts. We have rockets flying in on both teams here. This should be interesting. Got a really nice view as everyone starts to collapse in on the point. So one thing to keep an eye on for the DC team is they're going to try and get the positioning that they've had this whole time on those positions north and south. So if DC establishes themselves early, I do see ARO having a hard time. Again, ARO in blue, and DC is in orange. So ARO going with a huge amount of people on the very top side of this map. So ARO valuing going in north side, which I think is interesting, whereas DC is really putting a lot of focus on the actual circle, which means that I think DC is going to capture here. So ARO just set their outposts, but they're going to have to like very quickly reset them because they've sent really no one to the circle. They've got one guy there, whereas DC has half their team inside the circle. So DC is going to very comfortably capture the zone, at least at the start here. And now all of the squad leaders for ARO are going to need to reset like immediately. And they might actually be on a bit of a timer cooldown because they just set them up. So 2 minutes into the match, we have our very first capture. And that is that is DC capturing on attack. Abel and Baker get their outposts back up. I think Charlie's squad lead is running for his life right now, trying to get his up somewhere, but he goes down. So Charlie now going to have to reset, but Abel Baker have their OPs up, so not a total loss for the ARO team. They'll be able to get some solid control on this north side. So we're going to focus in on this north side for now. We've got nothing going on south side, at least at this very moment. And ARO is going to try and sweep down into the big, circle, which is capped by the 3-story house. They're going to try and sweep down by going through the roads here on the north side, cutting behind this hedge line right in the middle of your screen, and then cutting in the back. And that's going to be their way in. And if they can do that, they're going to really force DC off balance. So really a lot of opportunity for ARO. And they're actually doing a nice job on the north side. There's no shortage of players for ARO here. And you actually have a guy, a squad lead. He's going for the wide run. This is Eric Hartman for the ARO team. He is running all the way in on the north side. He has found an opening that DC has not cut off, but maybe they're sensing that someone could have gotten in on that side. So it's really important that Eric not shoot anyone, and he just like lay down and hope that DC runs past him. Let's see here. Really nice shot. So he goes down. So that was a really great opportunity for ARO if he could have gotten through there. But it does open up the very top side of this map, potentially for ARO to advance. Smoke's coming in now for both teams. ARO trying to advance in on any of the buildings, either the back buildings on the northwest side of the point or the actual center cap. ARO really not putting any weight on the south side at all. There is not a single ARO player to be found south of the 3 lines. So ARO going all in north side, which is a play. It can be very advantageous when you get the breakthrough. We've seen it a few times in the tournament where teams have overloaded their entire team to one side and have overwhelmed the defenses of that team, and they've found a way to break through. Conversely, we've seen teams kind of get stalled out, and right now ARO looks to be getting stalled out a little bit. They're really losing their positioning in and around the circle. ARO is in a bit of trouble, and we have a AT player that's Faker moving in. He's very, very close to Able and Baker outposts, but he doesn't go for him. So DC almost chokes out both of the OPs. Faker finds them kind of, but he goes down. And now Able reset his a little bit further north. Baker still has his up. So ARO holding on like by the skin of their teeth here on the very, very north side. It's not super pretty, but it's working. You have a couple of DC players on the south side here. You have a squad lead and an assault class and a rifleman kind of holding a pinch position on the south side. The difficulty with ARO, with the game plan they've gone for here, is I don't know what ARO can really do if they lose these outposts. Like if Able and Baker outposts go down for ARO, I think they're just in a ton of trouble. They're definitely in really a box out position. Charlie now going back north side. And ARO is getting somewhere. They're actually advancing nicely along this this hedgerow. Rifleman goes down. So we'll see if they can advance. It looks like, though, DC has a great outpost set up on the back buildings. Core's got an MG. He's doing a lot of work. So, yeah, outpost right there in the middle of your screen. So ARO in very good position to try and break out of what's going on topside. As I say that, a grenade finds Baker outpost, and now Baker squad lead has to run for his life and reset his OP. So Able and Baker really kind of playing cat and mouse with their outposts. They're up. They're still up. Now the squad lead goes down. Ninja Pulver now moving in. He's really close to Able outpost. He's just kind of taking his sweet time here. But they find him. So Arrow Ares is able to spray through the hedge. They find him. They knew it was flash, so they knew someone had to be close. And now ARO again able to get a full spawn in on the north side. So even though ARO gave up like pretty much the entirety of the map on the, at the start by not going south side, the overwhelming force that ARO has brought north is allowing them to actually advance in pretty good number. And DC, has to hold a bit of a wide line, right? Like DC has to ensure that no one is slipping through right? So they've got to take up these positions, which means they got to commit manpower in positions where there is not a single player from ARO to be found. And DC is like playing a battle of attrition. They're holding thus far, but ARO is starting to make plays here. As I say that, an automatic rifleman, is this Clippy, moving in, and he's actually getting really, really close. Clippy makes a great individual effort on the very north side of the strong point. He's able to knock down an MG and a squad leader for the RO team. But at the same time, 3 players here from RO have killed the DC squad leader, and they're not moving. So it's a bit of, a little bit of both ways on the north side. I think DC still has an absolutely massive advantage because RO is literally just in one tiny section of the map. And as I say that, Abel's outpost goes down, Clippy moves in. I feel, RO was in a little bit of position there. They could have done something. They were actually had like massive concentration of players north. They looked like they could make something happen, but it is now looking like with just one outpost up in the zone and Charlie outpost just on the edge, RO in big trouble. So DC now has RO on the run in and around the zone, and you've got squad leader. This is Sirius from DC. He has moved all the way up to the line, and I think unless RO finds a way in on that northern road, and that's really it. That's the only way in for RO is that northern road. I think we're on the verge of a box out here, and we're not even 10 minutes deep. We're just about to hit the 10-minute mark. So RO went for an all-or-nothing play on the north side, which I can appreciate, right? Like, I understand the logic behind what RO was trying to do. They wanted to just overwhelm the DC team on the north side. It was a good thought. And it's good later in the match. I think the issue is that RO went to try and do a late game play at the very start of the match, which is right now showing to be a problem, we'll say, to just be frank. I mean, RO is totally capable of getting back into this match, right? Like, they've got great shooters. They've had great matches in the tournament. They've played really close games. No doubt that RO can still win this game. But they kind of shot themselves in the foot at the very, very start of the match by not putting anybody on the south side. Like, they just went so hard north. Now, as I say that, DC looks like lost their 1v1s on the south side, and now RO has got 2 riflemen, and the south is wide open. I mean, there's not a single player from DC really even looking on the very, southern sector of the map. So even though RO went all in north side, they're not paying the heaviest price for it. Like, this could be a lot worse for them because they're able to find a way in with a couple of players south. Now what I'm curious to see is, does RO go for some kind of totally different play now, right? Like, they haven't gotten anywhere on the north side. Can they move in anywhere on this map that's going to allow them to advance? We have Charlie and Baker still kind of north-ish. Abel has spawned south side. Plenty of time, right? 18 minutes. I've seen crazier things in this tournament. But this has small shades of the TC-DC match from 2 weeks ago. Or, sorry, not 2 weeks ago. From Saturday of last week. Because, like, the starts were very different. Like TC went all in on the circle and lost, which is, happens. RO didn't even like try for the circle. Like, RO was like, screw the circle. I'm just going to send my whole team north. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting call from RO. I don't know if they thought that they could just easily overwhelm DC north side and just advance and flush down. But as I say that, DC is holding, this is the problem with defense in this format, is it's tenuous sometimes. Like, you've got to hold a wide line. You don't exactly know where your opponents are going to come from. As we zoom in on this very northern fight here, you don't always know where your opponents are going to come from. So DC is forced to put players into positions to defend, right? And RO has the luxury, even though they're behind, RO has the luxury of being able to send all of their forces, or the majority of their forces, on one part of a relatively spread out DC team. So DC has to advance carefully from here on, because now, as I say that, RO has a squad leader, Charlie, who has actually done a decent job in the middle. Now, you might think that that's not an important position, but what that's giving RO is some eyes, right? He is allowing his team to be able to see what's going on. So Major is looking here, and they're about to run into each other. RO and Ninja Pulver. Oh, Ninja just drops him one shot. Really nice job there by Ninja. So RO is like holding on by like the skin of their teeth here on the north side. Like Baker has got something going. RO is sending like one or two players south side to just kind of keep the DC team interested, which is a good play. Maybe it makes DC think that there are more people here than there are. So you got to send somebody. So that's good from RO, at least trying to spread out this DC team. But right now, again, DC, holding on, and RO is just full commit on this north side, and they are just going to go for it, it seems like. Like, they don't seem to care that they're not gaining a ton of ground. They think maybe that the south side is a lost cause with 15 minutes to go in the match. But, easily DC, the winners of the first 15 minutes of this match, and it wasn't particularly close. If you look at the map, I mean, you have all of RO's players confined to a very small corner of the map. You have DC spread out nicely across the whole zone. So RO has got to find a way to break through on this north side. Like, the key for RO is they have to break through in big numbers. They need to eliminate the outpost that DC has got. And if they don't do that, they are never going to be able to win this match with the way they're set up. Now, as I say that, you have... Oh, TZ shouldn't have shot. ROTZ in huge position to maybe make something happen. DC has fully committed their forces that are there on the south side of that hedgerow. Core is doing what he can to try and slow this advance, but you do have a player, that's Baker's squad leader. TZ has broken through on the very, very north side. And he needs to get his outpost down. Like, it is so critical right now that TZ get his outpost down. This could be the best moment that RO has in the entirety of this match to make something happen. So TZ is wide open right now on the north side. He has broken through. He needs to get his outpost down, and he could completely change the complexion of the match if he can do that. So we're going to keep an eye on TZ as he makes his run in the backfield here. DC have no idea that he's there, but I am anxious for him. He has got to set his outpost. This is such great positioning. If he doesn't set it, it is a massive, massive mistake. So we're going to keep an eye on him. DC and RO still battling it out on the north side. So we're going to keep an eye. Like, Baker outpost also getting threatened right now as he runs forward. Interesting. Like, he's showing a lot of patience here. TZ is alone in the backfield. There's not a single player from DC that knows that he's there. He's completely alone. He's got to set his outpost. His outpost just went down. Maybe that is motivation for him to set it where he is. We're going to keep an eye. Abel and Charlie holding on for the RO team. Man. Now, Baker outpost is set. So that's really good from TZ. He's going to move in now. DC have no idea that he's there. He's done a great job. He's stayed quiet. He is completely alone in the backfield. DC definitely think they're alone, and a full squad spawns for RO in the backfield of artillery battery. Now, I'm having flashbacks to the DC Exodus match where Exodus snuck in an entire team behind DC's line, and they didn't capture in that moment, but they certainly threatened. And now I think there might be a little bit of panic setting in for DC. They've got to see that it's flashing, although no one's looking behind yet. This MG still looking forward. Just now I think he's realizing that it's getting flashed. So now, okay, this is a big moment. DC flushing in big numbers on the backside of this strong point. And it's just Chikarian sitting alone. We have a rifleman and an assault player, Elwow here, and Johnny Don't. They are the only people standing between ARO and this circle, and ARO now is in huge position to make this a problem for the DC team. They've got to eliminate Chikarian in the house. That is such a big deal. If Chikarian goes down in this house, now really, really good play. This is really smart. Johnny Donut is thinking that the outpost has got to be behind them, so he's already flushed behind and he's looking. You have 3 players from ARO, a 4th, a squad leader on the south side. Looking to come in. This is now going to open up the map potentially for the RO team. This is really smart. Baker's squad lead, ROTZ, has moved all the way to the south side, and honestly, he should replace his outpost where he is. There's no one from RO or no one from DC really that close to him. This is really mixing up the match, right? Now you have an opportunity for RO to at least force them back. Now, as I say that, the rest of the team for RO drops the ball. Able and Charlie outposts go down, and that is a problem for ARO because Baker does a great job breaking through. They find an opening, and they're like, yes, Able and Charlie now can break through. DC's got to turn around. They got to deal with this rear-facing threat. But instead, DC actually rises to the occasion. They eliminate Able and Charlie outpost, and ARO kind of gets stuck. With 10 minutes to go here, they were so close to really flipping this match. But the rest of the team just can't follow through. Now, as I say that, this outpost still up for ARO, and that's going to just, it's going to change the complexion of the match now. Now, ARO, this is a great example of flanking and creating some different angles and sight lines for DC to deal with. Because now, DC has to defend in 2 directions. And it is so critical that, ARO has got to eliminate an outpost, and they might have just done that. ARO eliminates an entire squad. I'm not sure they got the outpost. They were really close to getting it. I'm looking for it. I think Baker and his entire squad for DC just went down. So now you have Sirius, the squad lead. He's moving in on the south side. But I think that that ARO might have given themselves a big opening on that south side. And yes, as I say that, squad leaders got to run in from spawn here. Oh no, that's Ninja Pulver running in from spawn. So interesting. So DC in a little bit of disarray. All 3 squad leaders are in the very back half of their zone. There's no forward placement of squad leads right now. That has allowed Able from ARO. He's able to move in. He's secured a position on the road. Charlie's right behind him. Baker has moved his outpost into a really... Oh, no. Sorry, that's not his outpost. That's a marker. So Baker goes down. So DC finds it. So really nice job there from DC eliminating the Baker outpost. But as I say that, DC now has to kind of deal with some unknowns. Like they might not be sure that they've eliminated everyone in the backfield. So they're going to take some time here. A AT player, very interestingly, is sitting, this is RO Cloud 1995. He's sitting right next to Ninja Pulver. I don't know if Ninja Pulver's heard his man here, but RO Cloud laying down, and he is staying alive in the backfield, so he can do some damage. So really, really nice job from RO Cloud there. Not trying to kill anyone, really just trying to get position, trying to get intel. So RO now, with under 10 minutes to go, has to advance. Man, they've got to advance. They've got to advance quickly. Because they are getting tight on time. They've got 8 minutes to go here. DC's still in position. RO gave themselves an opening, but couldn't fully take advantage of it. They do have 1 player from RO in the back. Cloud 1995. He has the opportunity to do damage at the right moment. He should hold on. He's in very good position where he is. He should try and eliminate an outpost if he can. While DC sends their squad leaders forward here. I'll also be curious to see if DC tries to keep the box out or the semi-box out with 7 minutes to go, or are they going to start being safe and sitting in the backfield really, as you know, and I feel like I'm at a loss for words sometimes, because the biggest lesson of the format thus far, the biggest lesson of the tournament thus far, has been that patience pays off. We saw patience in so many games last week really pay off. 82nd, having so much composure at the very end of their match against ARO, knowing that ARO was going to flip with 3 minutes to go. The squad leaders stay patient. They just trust that they're going to be able to recapture. They don't get aggressive. They all hold back. The zone flips. 82nd resets all of their outposts, and they get in position and they recapture in overtime. I mean, that's just amazing. So now, are we going to see a repeat play here? ROTZ has snuck through again on the north side. Now, ooh, this is a big moment. Is DC Wing going to see him? DC Wing saw TZ. He must have seen TZ. How did he not see him? He looked right at him. Right here. It was right in his point of view. ROTZ gets a free pass into the backfield again. That is potentially a catastrophic mistake for DC here. They survived it once. You still have an AT player in the backfield who's been keeping eyes and passing intel this whole time. I cannot believe that TZ, with 5 minutes to go, has actually found a way to break through again. And now DC probably feels like they're like, for sure we've got it this time, right? Like, there's no way. I was right there. There's no way someone broke through. And that is just like a humongous opportunity now. Now the key is Abel and Baker squad leads for ARO have to put a significant amount of forward pressure on the DC team right now. Look, DC thinks they've got ARO on the run. DC's closing in. Their whole team is coming in. They're meeting ARO at the very northeastern corner. And Baker Outpost gets moved again into the field, into the backfield. There's not a single player from ARO, a single player from DC that has any freaking clue that ARO is in the back here. Now a rocket comes in. Ooh, that might have been a little early. That is going to alert DC that there is someone behind them. So that was a little bit risky there from ARO. I would have held on. The patience there was so great there from that AT player. He was probably trying to just close in. I appreciate that he was going for it, but that alerted DC early. If they had held on to that rocket and not fired it, DC would have no clue that they are here. So now DC gets a forward notification, and they must know that someone's behind, and now they're engaging. So ARO had so much patience there, and it was just a little too early. They should have waited until they had either eliminated an outpost or they had, flown in and gotten good numbers inside of the circle before they started killing anyone. DC is in a little bit of tricky position. Like, ARO can certainly threaten from where they are, and it looks like they're going to try. But the problem for ARO has been outposts. ARO has not been able to reliably remove DC outposts in this match. So until that happens, I just don't know what they're going to be able to do. I think that ARO can still win this match as we head into the final 4 minutes of what could be the end of the losers final. ARO is in position to do something. DC now is flying back in big numbers backwards, and you've got just one assault player. He's the only one holding the forward line here for the DC team. Now, ARO Baker is going to lose his outpost, but he pulls the DC team backwards. But as I say that, ARO just can't advance in any kind of serious form on the north side as they do it, and DC's still holding the defensive perimeter. Now, I think that if that rocket from ARO did not get fired, that DC would have had absolutely no clue that ARO was in their backfield again, and that could have really changed the outcome of this match. But a little bit of impatience, I feel, from ARO, And, you know, I respect it, right? He's trying to eliminate the MG. The MG's been giving them problems in the house this whole time. You know, I totally get and appreciate why he made that play. But it's so easy to see from Abnecam, like, oh, you know, he should have held on. But, you know, in the moment, it's a lot harder. So I won't criticize him too heavily. So ARO now really in crunch time. 3 minutes to go here. Sorry, 2 minutes to go. And they're kind of just where they've been. ARO just kind of where they've been. Like, just haven't been able to advance anywhere. Like, they get Baker squad lead through, and now you have a automatic rifleman ensuring that does not happen again. Clippy is just going to hold that angle. He's like, I've seen that twice. We're not going to try that again. So ARO now really kind of, you know, into their last moments here, like have to find a different play, a different idea. With just a minute to go, they've got to get to the circle and force an overtime, and they can do it. I mean, anything's possible. I've seen crazy things in this tournament, but DC just hasn't allowed ARO to get anywhere. Now, as I say that, Eric Hartman has maybe an opening. Maybe. He's got to get his outpost down very quickly. I think he's going to set it. He realizes he doesn't have a lot of time. So Eric Hartman is going to try and set his outpost here on the southern flank. But maybe there's not enough time. I just don't know. Baker isn't even in the zone for ARO. So they don't have enough capture weight. And DC doing the right thing. DC now is going to put 6, 7, 8 guys inside of the circle. And they're basically going to tell ARO, like, come and get it. You know, come and get it. Eric Hartman is moving in. If he is Rambo himself, maybe he can force overtime. But barring a crazy set of plays here, I think we have potentially seen the end of the losers final, and we know our opponents inside of the championship. Eric Hartman goes down. No cannon, moves in, but we hit the end of time, and DC is advancing to the championship, and with a really, really solid performance here on artillery battery. And DC gets their rematch against 82nd Airborne. It is the round of 16 rematch. It went to a match 3. 82nd won in 3 matches. So now they get their rematch. Really got to credit ARO in this tournament, though. A really massive performance. ARO entering the tournament, I think, is a relative unknown to the American and European scene. They did so well in this tournament. They took down some of the bigger fish. They knocked 20th out of the winner's bracket. They knocked OC out of the winner's bracket. Like, ARO had some extremely commanding performances in this tournament. They placed 3rd, and a very commanding 3rd, in my opinion. They played just really, really well, and they just did a great job. So with that, DC advances, and we are going to be bringing you. We're going to confirm the match time, but the plan is we're going to be bringing you match 1 of the championship a little bit later today between 82nd Airborne, the 1st seed, and DC, the 2nd seed. Stay tuned. It'll be in about 4 or 5 hours. We will see all of you then. It has been a pleasure bringing you this losers final between ARO and DC. Please tune in for the very end of this tournament as we find out who's going to take home the championship in the Summer Invitational. Thanks, everybody.